I missed it on camera, but Randy was just sitting out here enjoying his morning coffee in the sun. And I look over and I yell at him, "Hey, what's that behind you?" And there was a baby moose walking past him. Then the moose disappears and a wild dog starts circling him. Hey everyone, I'm Phil from Northern Wild Harvest, and we are out here in southern British Columbia today. It is going to be a very warm day, supposed to be pushing 30 degrees Celsius, and we're going to be going out and trying to find some morel mushrooms on a nearby forest fire. The last time we were out there, we had found a nice pocket of orange, half-burnt trees surrounded by green, and nobody else knew it was there. I was able to spot it with the drone. We went in, and over the course of 2 little picks, we got over 100 pounds for the 2 of us, which was pretty good for early season. The quality is really good right now. So we're going to go explore more in that area of the fire. I managed to spot another smaller pocket burn, but we think that after yesterday's hot weather, we might go in there and get, a bucket or 2, start the day off with that, and then move on down that same road and look for more new zones. And then if that's a bust, then we're going to do some more fire scouting here, because there's a lot of other fires. Our plan this season is to stay mobile until we find a really good spot. If we don't get a lot today, we're going to start planning where to go next. At least for the next few weeks, it'll probably just be the 2 of us, and we're going to get whatever we can. After 2 successful harvests in this small but abundant section of soft burn, we decide to leave the remaining morel pins to grow for a few more days. It's a good chance to check a few new areas on the fire, with the goal to find more hidden spots that aren't easily visible from the road. The inspiring scenery in this area has us in good spirits. A lot of this wildfire burned too hot, but there's still good ground to be discovered. After checking a couple of roadside locations, we'll start harvesting this large southern slope covered in orange, black, and green, but I'm more interested in the small section of understory burn that I spotted earlier in this drone flight. The ideal burn density in the right ground can easily outproduce an area that's 10 times the size if it burned too aggressively. We've got 2 moose over here. One in the woods, and then there's a nice size one right there. How you doing, eh? Leading me to the patch. See the one behind it? I'll be honest, I'm not too sure about this spot. We checked here before and I wasn't a big fan of this area, but at least we can see how those babies have grown since we were here 3 or 4 days ago, and see how the progression is going. But we might not be in this spot for too long. I'm gonna go check out these larger trees over here. So that's not great. See these mushrooms here? They're just tiny and they're not done growing, but you see how open the ridges and the pits are and the gills? They're maturing small, that little group there. And then here's a baby. This one looks a little bit healthier, but not growing super fast. Here's one that's a little bit better. Right in an old footprint from a picker. This mushroom has popped up. Overall, been hit pretty hard. I should probably go check around that creek, see what's happening. Wow, beautiful spot here. I just hope that it's had enough sunlight down in this little valley, this ravine that I'm in. Maturing small here. That's what I was looking for. So just had another picker walk up to me, and he was friendly. He's from Quebec. So he went that way and I'm going this way. Usually these little riparian zones are really good, but there was very few this time. Probably just too shaded because it's so steep on either side. Not enough heat and sunlight. So on this burn, the morels that are growing with the cedar are quite nice. Very nice quality. But there's like no spruce trees on this burn. And fire morels in Western Canada here, spruce trees are where it's at usually. Like if I had to rank them, spruce is the top, number one. Best producing overall, best patches I've seen were in black spruce. Then probably followed by aspen or pine. And then the cedar. The cedar can be really good, but as you see, just not pumping them out like we see in spruce. For me, the best mix would be a mix of spruce, aspen, and pine. Oh, it's getting hot out today. Spotted some more burn hidden in the green. This often pays off for us. It's a very bad road. It's part of the job though. That looks like burn right at the end of the road. So if you saw on the drone flight there was some nice zones that were black surrounded by orange needles, strips of orange. We're gonna head right towards that. It's just down the hill a little ways. Ooh, this looks like it could be good. I'll take that. When you see it from the drone, it's also clear. Once you're down on the ground, it's hard to tell what's what. But I see a few things. So one, there's some taller burnt trees. I recognize those from the drone shot. That's right in the center of those orange pockets. Gonna head towards those. But as I'm coming down, you know, it's super dry here, almost no mushrooms. But I see down here, there's a spot that looks wet. There's moss starting. I'll have to check that out on the way down. Couple babies in the wet zone here. And there's one I can pick. Nice. See a nice one there. These are maturing small here again. That's okay though, they dry nice. See how the gills are open and they're starting to get brittle. Okay, here we go. That is a little more like it. Wow, look at how these are growing. You can tell this heat is just making them explode. Crazy. That was nice. I can hear somebody else down there and it's not Randy. Somebody's down there. Another harvester was just coming up the hill and I hit a little strip of pines here. And I got almost a half bucket there. Right before he got to me. There's two of them. They waved at us, we waved at them. They were not parked on the road that we're parked on, so they came up from below. So we should go work up above because they probably haven't gone up there. Yeah, look who it is. Here's what I'm drinking.
You want some water first?
No, that's okay. I've got the tea I made in the last episode combined with pine pollen in here. Dangerously hot out. Oh. Okay, that's as far off the road as we can get. Should be enough here. Put that in. We lost a mud flap on the truck there. It's built so close to the tire that it hit a little piece of wood, ripped it right off. What we're gonna do is there's an old clear cut here and then it never got cut here. We need to go down through this and there's a section of understory burn we want to look at. So all we have to do is stay on the edge of this clear cut and we'll come into the spot. See orange trees just down there, so it's not too far. We've just come down this big hill. See that big one? Oh yeah. Nobody's being here. It's a big one.
All of a sudden, I couldn't find any more Morels.
This big gnarly old birch tree here. The whole time there I was sort of working on the edge. Now I've finally finished that edge. I'm going to start going deeper and I see some big ones. Whoa, look at those. I see mushrooms. It's a tiny baby. They have willow fluff on them. That'll come off on our mushroom dryer, no problem. Look at that cluster.
My ground just suddenly changed here.
Quick break. Oh, it is hot out. Getting low on water. Low on pollen. Just constantly sweating for hours on end. Getting dehydrated here. But you know what? My bucket's completely full with the extender. And look what I just found. Pretty great. Look at this. Looks good here. I'm gonna waypoint this on the GPS and come back down here with my bucket later. Yeah, they keep going over here. Nice. See some big ones way over there. The way that this pocket of burn is it's like fingers of burn spreading out from a circle. Kind of like a weird lopsided star. But when I droned over it, I had a feeling it was like this because even though it's green trees above me, these trees are all still alive. That's why this spot's so good, because the trees aren't dead. They just got singed at the bottom. It got hot enough, stimulated morel growth. But the trees are still alive, so they're keeping all their moisture in, retaining more moisture in the ground, creating shade cover. And these are usually the best spots. What I'm gonna do is try to get back to Randy. And it's gonna be tough to get, look at this ground. I gotta walk through this for quite a ways. It's blow down. And I got a full bucket to carry over this blow down. So I gotta get through here and then way up the hill to the truck. Go get a bunch of water, wash off, sit in the air conditioning, and then hopefully come back down if Randy's up for it. Best morels yet, and the trees are all alive. What do you think of that? If only all the burns were like that. Trooper over here. Grizzled morel picker. You've been doing this a while?
Oh, about 40 years. I mean, about 40 years.
Another hill. Up to the truck. Oh. Spot. Lunch break. We're all recharged and going back in. We're almost done this pocket, but there was that nice patch left. The ants have been eating this Douglas fir for who knows how long. And this. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at these not growing in the burn, outside of the burn. Hard to tell the difference. What do you think of those?
Beauty, eh?
I'm going back for my little patch over here. Check this out. I'm at 2/3 of a bucket, not including the extender. And this way, where we just came from, is cedar, aspen, and birch forest. And that's because it was never logged. When you look this way, this is an old clear cut that has regrown, but it was all planted with pines. So it's like the species of trees just suddenly changes here like a wall. I'll stand right on the change. Pine forest, cedar and birch forest. Up the hill again, the steepest part. I don't know how Randy does it. I'm exhausted, and he's more than twice my age. Here.
Oh. Whew, yeah. Some clean considering what we have to put away for. Crazy.
Trailer hitch is gonna touch.
Oh yeah.
Basket number 1. 11.88. 11.73. 12.05. Mushrooms are drying. Still a little bit of sunlight in the sky. We just had a cup of coffee, recharged ourselves a bit. Had a pretty bad headache there from all that sun today. I still have some energy, so I'm gonna head out and pick a little bit more of this pine resin. This spot is just crazy. It's not a very big area, so this isn't gonna last. To find this much pine resin in this small area, I've never seen this much. So it's a rare thing. So we're gonna be delivering around 67 pounds to Morel, and so I need to finish that order. And we're almost there. You can see us harvesting this in the previous episode. Whenever you're walking with an axe, I highly recommend holding it like that when you're walking, blade away from you and close to the blade, you know, or like that. Because if you fall and you slip, it's pretty easy to just toss it away, especially on these hills, right? Here's a good example of how these trees are. And the tree is going to produce this sap to seal over a wound. Now in this case, the tree has a disease, and even once the wound is sealed, it'll keep producing sap, which is why this area is so good. You could take a little bit of this outside stuff, but really you want to get the stuff below the wound. And in this case, the base of all these trees has wounds like this, and so it's built up. So the wound will be here. But it's basically like a band-aid or a scab for the wound. It actually goes right down into the dirt. This is all fair game, and then I could take a little bit on the outside of this, but leave a patch on the tree ideally, so that it isn't an open wound. Now in a lot of cases the tree would survive anyways, but you don't want to be doing harm when you're harvesting. In most cases the sap will seal over the wound and weep for like a year or two, and then once it's sealed it'll stop doing that. But in this case it's just been continuing to weep for 20 years because they're diseased. And so yeah, there you go. That's why it's so abundant. So again, I'm going to come in with my axe here, and I'm not going to go too close to the tree. I do not want to damage the cambium. Just going into the sap. Once I get in there, peel away, pop that out, and then we'll clean off this dirt, and that'll get processed down. But I still try to get off everything I can. Okay, so here's a great example. You know, you have a wound around the branch collar here, and then down at the bottom there's just a chunk that has come down and built up. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to leave that alone. I could shave off a little bit. There's enough just sitting on the ground in this area that I don't need to do that. See, it's just built up at the base of the tree in these huge clumps. You know, the first while it goes into the soil and it's mixing with the dirt and rock, and when you heat it up on a low heat you can separate that out. But then eventually it builds up on top of the soil, and so the majority of this is clean. And I'll just cut into it to show you. Right? And even this has the sap in it. It's just mixed with a little bit of dirt and soil. Just sitting on the ground at the base of the trees like that. Amazing. Having a hard time filming this because my hands are so sticky, it's getting all over the camera. But there you go, I just finished that whole bucket. I think it's around 25 pounds. So there's the pine resin I got over the last 2 days. We're gonna weigh it up.
Drum roll!
27.
27 twice.
Yeah, we'll just call that 27. 27.
Times 3.
81. Cleaned my hand off. Woo! Oh yeah, they're already completely dry to the touch. Looking good. Can finally rest my legs. Having our leftover soup from the Dutch oven we made a couple days ago. And some pork chops. Trying to use them up before they go bad. But yeah, after a long day of work like that, having a hot cup of soup feels very good. My body's just absorbing that instantly. Good day. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to see more content. You can also find our online shop linked in the description. Keep watching till the end because I captured an amazing time lapse of the Aurora Borealis tonight. See you next time.